Hello, everybody. Fit for Life community. Let's get our tech here. Welcome, welcome. This is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, we're good. So I have to introduce you all to one of my very best friends in the world, and she's really smart and she's going to just knock your socks off today. But we have a really fun conversation that we're going to have. It's a little bit different than your norm in this group, but I had to bring Leslie on because she has a wealth of knowledge and wisdom to share with you guys. So let's just start by sharing about, gosh, how long have we been friends now?
Oh man, going on over 10 years. It's crazy.
12-ish years. So Leslie and I were roommates in PA school.
Yes, we were.
Which is so fun. And so both of us have been practicing medicine since 2012, and we have both had very different paths. A lot of you guys know mine. It's more family medicine, primary care, and now I've left to really solve the obesity crisis and helping you lovely ladies lose weight. But Leslie has a really exciting story of lots of different ways that she's practiced medicine and how that's led her to where she is now. So will you tell us first a little bit about your medicine background?
Sure. First of all, I'm so glad to be here and share some information with you. And I'm so grateful for Kelsey and her friendship. So a little bit of my background, we went to PA school together, and then I actually went more into the surgical field. My first job out was in neurosurgery. I did that for 6.5 years. I did ortho surgery. I did gastroenterology. I kind of did the travel PA thing where I was kind of all over the country doing a bunch of crazy acute care medicine. And I kind of got to the point where I realized where you're in medicine long enough, and I'm sure Kelsey agrees with this, you're in medicine long enough where you realize there's things that could be done better. And so while I was caring for really, really sick people, I started wondering, like, what can we do to prevent these people from needing surgery or needing all these great, these not so great things, but things that are needed, but what can we do to prevent these things? So I actually learned about functional medicine, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but it's basically what they call root cause medicine. I like to say it takes medicine like 2 layers deeper because it really tries to understand, like, why does someone have diabetes? Why does someone have obesity? Like, what's the root cause of that? Where's the inflammation in the body stemming from? And how can we treat that so that the diabetes or whatever symptom will get better? So they call it systems biology because, in medicine, you have your gastroenterologist, your cardiologist, everything's kind of separate, but this kind of takes your body as a whole, as a system, and it really tries and figures out like how one system affects the other system. So it's a lot of natural medicine, what I say, but not fluffy, very science-based, very evidence-based. So I became certified in that in 2020. And the certification process was super intense. It was 2 years and basically taking another medical boards. It was awful. I remember calling Kelsey and being like, I can't believe I'm doing this. But I did it. And
she's a rock star, you guys. She knows what she's doing.
Then I have practiced in functional medicine, seeing patients in a clinic setting. And I kind of started my own side gig with the inspiration of Kelsey, where I kind of help people take them through gut programs. And I used to do a detox program too, but mainly like kind of helping women with their gut health, because that's just at the root cause of so many things. And it's something that we didn't really learn in our training, but now is becoming a big part, even in the conventional medical community. It's starting to be accepted. So that is what I'm doing. That's my story.
Yeah. So Leslie's on the front lines helping people to heal before you can even have access to this at most of your primary care offices. I mean, this isn't something that you can easily find. And so we just wanted to come on and talk about that. Also, if you guys are watching this on live or on replay, please say hello and tell us where you're from. And we'd love to hear too, if any of you guys struggle. We're about to move in to talk a little bit more about gut health, but if you've had any experience with functional medicine, with trying to heal your gut, what your experience has been, we'd love to kind of hear where you're coming from. And if you have any correlation to that, even with your weight loss journey, we'd love to know that. So I thought it would be helpful. You guys know now that Leslie, she knows her stuff. She's really passionate about the cell, healing the cell and healing the root cause. So a lot of you guys that I've worked with inside Fit Moms Academy, or even that I've talked to you as you're in some of our little programs, as you're switching to real food, even though you have the best intentions, and maybe you're even all in with eating real food and eliminating the processed food, you're having some gut stuff come up. And some of you maybe even just on, more of a processed diet, you're noticing that you're bloated a lot. You have reflux, maybe you have poo problems, whatever that is. We can just talk about poo here openly today, right? You just know that something's going on. And this topic of gut health, there's a lot of buzz around this. There are people who probably shouldn't be talking about gut health, who are trying to sell gut health, maybe even selling supplements that they don't really know what they're doing, if we're being honest. So we wanted to come and talk today just about clearing up what is true and what is not, and what you actually need to do to heal your gut, and what even to look for. Like maybe you're wondering, well, how do I even know if I have a gut problem? What does that even mean? So we're going to talk about that today. Leslie's going to share 4 myths, and she's going to debunk these myths that she often hears in regards to gut health. So what's the first one, Leslie?
All right, myth number 1, here we go. If I don't experience gut symptoms, it means my gut is healthy. So most people don't realize that our gut health is really at the heart of our overall health. So I want to bring up a quote from the father of modern day medicine, Hippocrates, that said, all disease begins in the gut. And I want to kind of break this down to kind of go over what this exactly means. So we have our genetics. I'm going to talk about 5 pillars, basically. So we have our genetics, which we can't really change, unfortunately. And then we have toxins in our life, whether that's inflammatory foods, herbicides, pesticides in our foods, processed foods, stress, environmental toxins that basically alter our gut, causing inflammation in our gut. That causes something called dysbiosis, which is a fancy medical term for basically an imbalance of the bacteria in our gut, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. That leads to more inflammation, which causes leaky gut. I don't know if you guys have heard of this term, but it's kind of the buzz term these days for gut health. But leaky gut is basically where you have a breach in your intestinal lining. So things that basically shouldn't get past your gut, get past it and go into your system, basically. So macronutrients, toxins, a bunch of things. So you have a breach in the gut lining barrier, which is why it's called leaky gut. And then that eventually causes systemic immune activation where you get inflammation. So basically, if you have the genes for bowel disease, you're going to have the inflammation target your bowel. So you're going to have GI symptoms. If you have the genes for rheumatoid arthritis, you're going to have the inflammation target your joints. If you have the genes target, your nerve cells, you can have a lot of neurological issues. So the point that I really want to drive home here is that what happens in the gut does not stay in the gut. It is affected, your whole body is affected by your gut health. So there's ample evidence these days that other diseases, like I mentioned, seemingly disconnected to the gut, are actually rooted in gut dysfunction or highly affected by it. So yes, while you could have bloating, GERD, constipation, diarrhea, all the kind of gut symptom stuff, I want to encourage you to think that if you have other symptoms or health problems, that you really need to think about your gut. So some of those things that can be linked to an unhealthy gut, what I like to call kind of surprising signs of an unhealthy gut, are chronic exhaustion, skin issues, joint pain, allergies, insomnia, weight gain, which I know is big in this community. So I will go back to this point here at the end. So stay tuned. Food sensitivities, memory issues, heart disease, thyroid conditions, frequent illness, sugar cravings, concentration issues, migraines, and autoimmune disorders. So those are just a few. You can see that they're not specifically related to the gut, but how much your gut health can really affect these things. So if you struggle with any of those symptoms, you should really keep listening.
Interesting. So I'll be curious to hear too, when you tell us more about just how you have taken people through this, what kind of symptoms even improved, because
Yes.
it's so true. Like we think that, oh, I don't have any bloating, my bowel movements are normal, I mustn't have any gut issues. But the fatigue one, especially, I even wonder with things like chronic fatigue, if that's a major player there, right?
Yep, definitely is. Definitely is.
Super interesting. Cool. Okay, what's the second myth? Second myth.
All right, myth 2. The gut is only responsible for digestion, absorption of nutrients, and elimination of waste. So this is typically what most people think, right? This is what we're taught in school. Even in the medical community, this is what we're taught, like the gut primarily helps with digestion and elimination of waste. However, I want to let you guys know that the gut actually controls way more than that, which is why it's, again, at the heart of wellness. So I want to talk about something called the microbiome. So there's a lot of hype about the microbiome these days. And actually, Kelsey's familiar, but PubMed is a very highly regarded website for medical literature and things that have been studied and well researched. And you can actually find over 44,000 studies on the gut microbiome. So modern day medicine is catching on to the importance of gut health, but it's not quite there. It's just kind of catching on in the conventional community. So the microbiome, what is it? So in our guts, we have a community of organisms. So that's bacteria, protozoa, even viruses that all work together and are responsible for really, really important physiological functions. So fun fact about the microbiome is that we have 70 to 100 trillion organisms that line our digestive system. That means that we have 10 times as many organisms in our gut as we do human cells. So that is wild. So you can imagine all these organisms that are responsible for doing so many things. So let's talk about some of the things that the microbiome, these organisms, actually do in our bodies. So it helps with our immune system. 70% of our immune system is actually linked to our gut. It helps with production of neurotransmitters, which is like GABA, dopamine, serotonin. So mood disorders, you think about gut health with that. It helps with hormone regulation. Okay, I love talking about this one, especially with women, because most people don't know. So we have beneficial bacteria in our gut that produce an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase, which you guys don't really need to know right now, but this enzyme basically eliminates excess estrogen in our bodies. So we know that high estrogen diseases like PCOS, female cancers, PMS, irregular menstrual cycles, all these things are from high estrogen dominant conditions. So if our gut health is not up to par, we're not eliminating those estrogens. So a lot of the times when people have hormonal issues, we like to kind of work on their gut for that. So I find that really interesting. The other thing our guts do, they produce vitamins and cofactors, obviously, that help with a bunch of bodily functions. They also help with metabolic regulation, which I will talk about this because it kind of bridges on the whole weight loss thing, but it helps with appetite, fat storage, and sleep cycles as well. So, and energy production. We talked about this, the chronic fatigue. So if we don't have enough good bacteria digesting our food properly and absorbing nutrients, we're not going to have the energy we need. So basically, all in all, our gut microbiomes do a lot more than they're given credit for. And I feel like the gut is the most underrated organ in our human bodies because people just don't know how much it controls and what it does. So that is a myth debunker for you all. Our guts are actually very, very important.
It's like the brain, the second brain kind of, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, what's funny is I had a PA student probably a year and a half ago, and she wanted to do her big project in school on the gut, and they wouldn't let her because they're like, oh, this isn't, they called it like alternative medicine, and they like wouldn't let her do it.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how like our universities are not caught up to, what would you say, 44,000 studies that basically show all the things you're talking about. And, you know, from my standpoint, a lot of, you know, the Women at Fit Moms Academy, when we're working on all these lifestyle changes and implementation of, you know, how do we actually do the things we need to do to lose weight? The appetite obviously is a big piece of it. And sometimes we just have these, you know, like we can't control our appetite, it seems, in some situations, which is also tied to those hormones that go along with sleep cycles, right? And so it's just interesting how all of this comes together. Like, yes, we need to do all of these. We need to do the mindset work. We need to do the heart work to help you to step into wanting to make change for weight loss and all of those things. But also there could be some physiologic things that are going on that are keeping you from advancing as much as you'd like in your progress. So super interesting.
Very well said, Kelsey. It's very true.
Yeah. Okay, what's our next myth?
All right, myth 3. Taking a probiotic is enough to managing gut health. This is actually when I Googled, when I was like, what are the top myths about gut health? And I was like, I need to touch on this one. This one's important. So if it were that simple, just taking a probiotic is all you need, we would probably not be having this conversation. It takes a lot more than that. And first of all, if you are taking a probiotic, then you have to worry about quality, right? Is the probiotic even alive when you buy it? Potency, does it even get to your stomach and pass your stomach acid into your intestines where it needs to be? You need to think about the strains in the probiotic, because every strain has a different thing that it does in your body, and the quantity of the strain. So the point is one, you do need expert guidance when it comes to probiotics and picking the best probiotic that will be the most benefit to your specific needs. And just honestly, expert guidance, Kelsey touched on this, just expert guidance on supplements in general. I'm very passionate about this because I've studied supplements and I know companies and I know things, and there are supplements that I would never put in my body. So, I just think that supplements can do harm if you don't know how to use them right. And that's why, you go through a whole certification process to be able to understand what it does in your body. So, not just probiotics, but supplements in general, you really need good guidance with that. So if you learn anything from this, just make sure that you're not taking random supplements or probiotics, because you're not going to be getting the full benefit from it, or it could be doing harm that you don't even know about it. So anyways, I went on a tangent. So, okay, if you are, let's just say you're taking the perfect probiotic for your specific needs, even if you're doing that, it is not enough to maintain lifelong gut health. So in my program called the Grateful Gut Program, I actually kind of take clients through a 5-step process that I think really, really incorporates what I would consider maintaining lifelong gut health and how to maintain good gut health. So basically, I take them through 5 steps, and you're going to see that probiotics are only a very, very small part of my gut program.
Internet, let's see.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh. I think we're good now. Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you. Can you see me?
Okay, so start over with the Grateful Gut part. I think it was my fault, my internet.
Okay, no, you're good. So the Grateful Gut Program, I was saying, you're going to see that a probiotic is a very, very, very tiny part of the entire Grateful Gut Program. I basically do sum up like a 5-step system to get your gut healed and keep your gut healthy. So I'm going to just talk about those 5 steps so that you know what they are and just kind of what my strategy is. So the first step, I call it the 5 R's. So the first step is removing. So you have to remove things that are bad for your gut, essentially. So you remove inflammatory foods, you remove toxins. So that includes environmental toxins, because that's a whole topic of conversation that I can go off on a tangent on, the amount of environmental toxins that we're exposed to. So you remove that, and you remove stress, because stress is as much as a toxin as anything else, or at least try to manage stress better. So the first step is we remove basically everything that's bad or harmful to the gut. The second step is we replace. So we replace with specific factors that are going to help your body digest more efficiently. Then we reinoculate. So this is the probiotic part. We reinoculate, we put the good guys back in and get that balance back to normal in your gut. So one is with probiotics, yes, but it's also with prebiotics and postbiotics. So as you can see, probiotics are not like the tell-all, cure-all for gut health. And then we repair. So this is a big part. I talked about leaky gut and how sometimes you can have a breach in your intestinal lining caused by inflammation, causing toxins to enter your system. So a part of my program is we repair basically the cells that line the lining of the gut so that basically the gut's no longer leaky. And then the last step is rebalance, which is basically where you learn strategies for long-term gut health. So this is more lifestyle stuff, eating clean, watching your environment, knowing what supplements to take. So a lot of that part's educational so that you can go off and live a healthy gut lifestyle and you won't need me all the time. So those are kind of the 5 steps: remove, replace, reinoculate, repair, and rebalance. So you can see that probiotics are a very, very tiny part of that.
Dang. Okay. In the comments, did anybody know that this was all so complex? Because it's amazing to learn from you and just hear how, again, we miss so much of it. We just add one thing in and yeah, it might help, but you're just a wealth of knowledge to show us that it's a lot more than a simple step.
A lot more.
Yeah.
But
And we're going to
doable.
share, we'll share a little bit more about my husband who went through Leslie's program, and just, it was cool to see how you walked him through like exactly step by step what to do and what supplements when, and you really streamlined the process to take out the guesswork. And he had some amazing results that we'll share later too. So, okay, myth 4, right?
4, yes. Okay, I want to bring it back to the weight loss topic because I know that is a big thing in this community. So, myth 4, the only way to lose weight is by dieting and exercise. So, that is definitely true. And I am not a weight loss expert. That is Kelsey. But I will say that gut health actually has been linked to weight loss and maintaining a healthy weight. So I want to kind of talk about like how this is possible, because it's actually incredible that they've actually studied this. So they have actually linked, like I mentioned before, I talked about dysbiosis, which is the fancy word for a bacterial imbalance in your gut. You have the good bacteria and bad bacteria. So they've linked certain good bacteria, certain beneficial bacteria, one of which is called Akkermansia, which again, you don't need to know that, but they've linked those specific beneficial bacteria to directly improving metabolism, nutrient absorption, and weight management. So if there is a dysbiosis issue where you have an imbalance in the microbes in your gut, you're going to have a harder time losing weight and keeping the weight off because of that. They actually did studies where they looked at like the microbiomes of a bunch of lean people, and they found they all had these certain bacteria. That's kind of how they've studied it. So this is all kind of new stuff, but there's definitely a link to gut health and weight loss. And I can just say, like, from the clients that I have taken through the Grateful Gut program, again, it is not a weight loss program. That is not the primary goal of it. That's why you have Kelsey, who is awesome at that. But I have seen the majority of clients that I take through this program lose weight because they get their microbiome in a better place where they're able to lose weight, I want to say, a little bit easier and keep it off. So I have seen that the majority of my clients lose weight as a result of this program. And I want to share a quote with you that I love. And I don't know if Kelsey has shared it with you, but there's a quote that says, "It's not lose weight to get healthy. It's get healthy to lose weight." And that is basically what I've seen with my program. Once we get people's gut in a better place, they're kind of able to lose the weight easier and kind of keep it off. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know weight loss is a big thing in this community and a big passion for many of you. So just think about your gut health as being connected to that, because it definitely is.
Yeah, that's interesting too. If you're at a plateau and you're wondering what's going on, or just the metabolism piece, that's really interesting. So
yeah,
very cool. Okay, so we've covered all the myths. Make sure, again, we have some people watching us live, and I know a lot will be watching on replay. We'd love to hear any questions that you have. We're happy to answer those. So many of you watching are probably thinking, I need Leslie in my life. Maybe you have some of the obvious gut symptoms. Maybe you want to know how to get into her world, and maybe you want to know how you can work with her to heal your gut. Because again, we've both been in medicine for a long time. And I, even from a primary care standpoint, I have no connections in the actual Western medicine world who do what Leslie does. And so she walks you through how to actually heal your gut in a way that you're, I don't want to say never going to find, but it's going to be really hard to find this from a doctor's office. Would you agree?
Yes, I haven't found it yet. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I will drop the link to her Facebook group. So she does have a Facebook community if you want to kind of follow along. But I think even more importantly than that, tell us about your program, a little bit more about the Grateful Gut. And I know you have some exciting things coming up, ways that people can join you. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So my program, I kind of went over the steps that I do. I take people through. It's a 4-week program. I'm very intentional on 4 weeks. There's a reason I came up with that number. It's not some random thing I thought of. 28 days is actually scientifically what your microbiome needs for the beneficial bacteria to actually change. It takes 28 days, and 28 days is typically what they say creates a healthy habit. So that's also a nice thing. So it's basically a 28-day program where it's like very targeted. It's not easy, I will say. I mean, you do need a little bit of willpower. It's a specific diet I take people through, again, to basically what I'm doing is purging the gut. I'm getting rid of all the bad stuff and putting all the good stuff back in. And it's basically a 4-week complete gut reset. So I do the program on myself, once a year, twice a year. I know clients that like to do it just as a way to stay healthy, because just our environments, the foods we eat, unfortunately, there's not so much we can control. So our guts do suffer to a degree. So people just do it just kind of as a, I think Cody might be redoing it too, but kind of as just like a health maintenance thing. Like I said, it's just 4 weeks. And then hopefully after that, you'll know kind of how to maintain a healthy gut from there on. But it's basically diet and very, very targeted supplements. I take you through a digestive health assessment. And I kind of try to figure out the root cause of what your specific digestive concerns are or health concerns are. And then I basically pick supplements. Literally, I hand pick them for you, and I put them in convenient to go packets, because I know it's really annoying to take supplements and you don't want to have like 30 bottles on your counter. So I'm very specific about the supplements I pick, and you have basically to go like little packets that you take with you. You take your supplements, you eat really good for a month, and then you experience all these great things. So that's basically the gut program. I am doing a special right now. I figured what better time to do a special than the start of the year when everyone wants to be really healthy and is motivated. So I'm doing a special for the next Grateful Gut program starting January 9th. So yes, awesome. I'd love to have anyone here be a part of that.
Yeah. So to summarize, they sign up, they do a questionnaire and basically tell you their problems with their health. And then you come up with individualized supplements and a plan, and then they get to be in communication with you throughout the whole 28 days. You're there to answer any questions, and be a part of your group, right?
Yep, you got it. And it's fun, like when a group is going together, because then there's like, motivation and just people are all on the same page. So it's typically group calls that I do. I do one a week, and then you have access to me, whenever you need it, kind of like Kelsey said. But yeah, so basically if you sign up for a call, I'll send you the digestive health assessment. You'll take it. It's usually like 5 to 10 minutes. It's pretty quick. And then on our call, I'll go over the results and kind of talk about how my program can specifically help you. So that's it.
That's awesome. And if they sign up through this community, they get 200 off. Is that right?
300. Yep.
300 off. Okay.
For January.
That's amazing. So my husband and I might be joining in Leslie's community in January 9th to reset our guts. And again, we're health coaches. We know the benefits of eating well. We move our bodies every day, but there's always this sense of, like you want to elevate your level of health to a higher level, and healing your gut is a part of that. I did want to just briefly brag on Leslie with my husband's results. So my husband, Cody, he had a lot of bloating, reflux, inflammation for years and years. He would have to take, the occasional over-the-counter med to help him with his symptoms. And he went through Leslie's program. And again, this isn't for the faint heart. Like you have to have some grit to get through her program, because the diet piece is very specific, but it's very intentional. And Cody did it, and he was down, again, this is amazing. He was down 12 pounds in 28 days. And He really, stuck to it, and he no longer has daily reflux. He doesn't have the bloating that he used to have. And this was when it was in the spring, I think, that he did it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Mhm.
remember.
Spring.
Yeah. And so the results last, and he hardly ever has any, unless he like really, if he has like pizza and a beer and really goes off, then he might have a little bit of symptoms, but that's not, it's pretty
Yeah.
rare.
Right.
So tell us a little more about your clients' results. What have they experienced?
Yeah. So I already kind of talked, and you mentioned like weight loss as a result. That is the majority of my clients. Other kind of things that I've noticed, no, that they've told me have improved, has energy levels have improved, sleep has improved. One lady I took through, she said her skin looked a lot better, and she said her dark spots didn't seem as like apparent. So better
Hmm.
skin ultimately. Hair loss has improved for some, also. Trying to think, bloating was definitely a big one too, just regularity with bowel movements. Those are kind of trying to think, the main ones that I'm trying to remember from all the clients. Those are kind of the main ones, but it's kind of fun for me because everyone's symptoms, like, it's not like everyone has the same symptoms get better. Like I said, some people, like, they have no gut issues, and then, their hair loss is better or their skin is better, so it's kind of fun for me to just see like how everyone's body is different and reacts to like just having good gut health. It's really amazing what it does.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know a lot of you watching are like, I need this in my life. I want to heal my gut. I want to go on this adventure with Leslie. And obviously, I could just sit and listen to you talk about all the science and the studies all day. It's really cool to listen to. So we're going to drop a couple links below, but specifically, if they want to know more about the program and the specifics of the Grateful Gut, walk our community through how they can get a hold of you and what to do exactly.
Yeah, so probably the easiest way to get in direct contact with me is by booking a call, which I think we'll put the link for that. And like I said, I'm going to send you a digestive health assessment, and you'll take it before our call. And then once we're on the call, I'll go over it with you. And that's kind of where I get more into the nitty gritty of the gut program and how it can help you with your specific health needs. So that's probably the best way to do it. And like I said, so the next one is starting January 9th. So I'm probably going to have a cutoff because I need to get people their supplements. They need time for that. So I'll probably have a cutoff of, like, if you guys can book a call in the next few weeks, that would be awesome. Just so that there's enough time to kind of get the supplements too. But yeah, that's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me. And then you can ask me kind of any other questions you have too.
Yeah. So we'll drop the call link. Did we go over, I don't know if we said the promo off. What's the total investment if they want to join the Grateful Gut?
It's $997 for the month. And then supplements
Okay.
are not ordered through me. So they're ordered directly through the company. So there's an additional fee for supplement costs, which again, it's different for every person because I target the supplements based off of what you need. But I try to keep it like around the $200 to $300 range for the price of supplements.
Yeah. But if you guys think about this, it can seem like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend that, but your investment into your health now is going to pay dividends later. So obviously we talk about that with weight loss. Like, when you are investing in your health, you're going to avoid disease and surgeries and unnecessary problems down the line. But this could save you on medications. Even like, what if it improved your depression? What if it improved your periods? What if you are struggling, with irregular cycles, and you're trying to get everything in alignment for fertility reasons? I mean, there's just so many benefits that I just want to encourage everybody to consider. Like, what if I found a way? And you could can people use their health spending accounts? Do you know?
Probably.
Yeah, I've had clients do that with mine, but anyway, we could check on that.
Okay.
But I just want to speak to the financial piece and just how everybody is so worth investing in themselves health wise. And we only have one body. And if you can get this in alignment, especially if you're struggling, the benefit is going to far outweigh a one-time, investment. So if you're just curious, or if you don't know if this is for you, we just want to encourage you to get on the phone with Leslie. book a call, do your assessment, and just see what it could be like for you. And again, her results speak for themselves and her knowledge speaks for itself. So,
And I forgot to
anything
share,
else?
sorry, Kelsey, one more thing I forgot to share. I forgot to
Yeah.
share my results personally from going through
Oh
it.
yeah.
So for me personally, I noticed, let's see, bowel regularity was much better. Skin was much better, less breakouts. And probably like the biggest thing that I noticed were my PMS symptoms really, really got better. So I talked about the hormone component. That's definitely a thing. And, I wanted to just share one last thing, like, and Kelsey knows this, like in the medical community, you go to your primary care, you have like gut issues. They just diagnose you with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And that's like your diagnosis for life. And then that's just what you have, but I encourage you that you don't need to struggle with that for life. Like there is a better way. There is another way of doing things that is going to benefit really all aspects of your health. And I really believe that this Grateful Gut program is a way to do it. And that's why I created it, to kind of educate and provide this as an option to people that just don't have this, at their normal doctor's offices.
Yeah. Yeah. IBS is kind of something that we just slap on people who have symptoms and we don't know what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a real diagnosis. So Leslie can help you to fix your IBS, whatever the cause of that. We do have a question. Somebody asked, can you share more about the food part? Is an elimination type program?
It's similar. I would say it's an elimination on steroids, if I can say that. It's a little bit more intense. So when you choose an elimination diet, you can, do like a 2 food, 3 food, 6 food, mine is a little bit more intense, I'd say, for the 4 weeks. And I don't want that to scare you. We both said that you need grit to get through this, which is true. You need to be motivated, but this is not a diet that I typically recommend long-term. So it is just a 4-week therapeutic, like biggest bang for your buck, kind of all over gut reset kind of diet. And again, it's only for 4 weeks. And then you go back to eating hopefully healthier foods, but you go back to eating some of the foods that, weren't technically allowed on the 4-week diet. So basically it's a diet that basically takes away all inflammatory foods. It's hard, but it's possible. I've done it. Cody's done it. Like so many clients have done it that didn't think that they could. But once you get into it, it really becomes kind of like you get used to it. I don't know. It's like when your body starts craving the right things, it's like your body just adjusts to it. And I do have an option too. This might be more advanced, like people that have food sensitivities. Some people are interested in reintroducing, after they've been on this diet, like how do they reintroduce foods properly? Because there's a whole method to that too. So I kind of, if that's something that people want to do, then I kind of help them through that process too. So,
yeah. Yeah. And I did most of the diet with Cody. And honestly, you guys, it's not the hardest part is just the preparation. You have to be prepared to have food on hand so that when you're hungry, you're not reaching for the normal things. But you can have meat, you can have a lot of most vegetables, you can have fruit, you can have nuts. So it's really doable. You just have to get in the mindset of being prepared to have the food on hand. So don't let that scare you.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question. What about ulcerative colitis?
That's a tough one. So ulcerative colitis is an inflammatory bowel condition, right? So I'm not going to promise. So everyone has a degree of where their gut health is, right? So, I say 4 weeks is a great start, but I'm not going to say that, in 4 weeks, you're going to heal completely of having ulcerative colitis. However, I will say this is a step in the right direction. I think for all the inflammatory bowel conditions, I think people need to really think about inflammation in the gut and how to heal that. And unfortunately, the medical world doesn't really target that. They just do medicines and all that to manage it. But if you don't, like I said, get to the root cause of what is causing the inflammation in your gut. So for you particularly, we need to figure out what is causing that inflammatory condition in your gut. Is it an imbalance in the bacteria? Is it leaky gut? Is it all, other things that it could be? So, is it low stomach acid? Is it just inflammation in your gut? So there's so many things that it could be, but I think that with any inflammatory bowel condition, you have to go back to the root and try to figure out why there's inflammation in the first place, and then basically fix that problem. Does that make sense? So I'll say that 4 weeks is great, a good start, but if you do have an inflammatory bowel condition that you've been diagnosed with for years, it might take a little bit more work than the 4 weeks, but I do think the 4 weeks is a perfect start.
Yeah. And then we can kind of figure out how to proceed from there.
Yep,
Yeah.
you get it.
I think those are all the questions. We had someone say that your passion really comes through when you're talking,
Oh,
and
that's good.
love it.
Thank you. It's definitely there.
So like I said, if you guys are on the fence, or if you're just wondering, what if this could change my life? What if I could work with Leslie? What would that even be like? We're going to drop the link. We encourage you. It's a free consult, so there's really nothing to lose. Get on the link and talk with Leslie. We'll also drop a link to her Facebook group to get to know her and her passion. And yeah, it's fun chatting today. Anything
Yes.
else?
I don't think so. I feel like I could go on a rampage about this kind of stuff. So I will just keep it at that for now and say thank you to you, Kelsey, for allowing me to be here and be a part of your community. You're doing amazing work, and you guys are all very lucky to have this lady in your life. Let me tell you that.
Oh, well, it's mutual. Leslie's amazing. And I think, again, I'll just say to close, we have a passion. Again, we've been deeply immersed in medicine for over 10 years, and we know what the training's like. And we just have such a passion for healing in different facets, in ways that you can't get in traditional medicine, in ways that insurance doesn't allow, and time doesn't allow in the office. And so I hope that you just hear both of our desires for you guys to have hope that whatever your thing is, whether it's something with your gut health or weight or both, like, there is hope, and there are alternative ways to be free from this. So
Yes. Amen.
that's
Amen.
yeah. Okay. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thanks,
guys.
Leslie.
Thanks, Bye.